My name is Dr. Abdulkarim Kana, the Chair of the Criminal Law and Procedure Group, member of the Board of Governors of International Association of Law Schools, and the Attorney General of Nasarawa State, Nigeria. I am an Associate Professor of Law at Nasarawa State University, Kefi, Nigeria, where I served as Dean of the Faculty of Law. This is to congratulate all members of the IALS, and particularly members of Criminal Law and Procedure Group, on surviving this gruesome period of global pandemic. This indeed is a disaster of immeasurable scale that has changed completely the way we do business, interact, and communicate with each other. This is also to welcome new members into the IALS and into the Criminal Law and Procedure Group. The IALS study groups are formed around the doctrinal interest of our faculty members and their scholarship. The association's initial 11 study groups focus on the core doctrinal areas of legal study. The groups have followed the association's established process of first establishing a common baseline for each core area of doctrinal law, as taught in the law programs across the world. This has been done by building a consensus among the relevant stakeholders. Having established the baseline through this development of course outlines, curriculum, and model syllabi, the next step has been to investigate different pedagogic approaches in educating a new set of students in these concepts. The objective is to continually explore and advance our understanding of each core area to fulfill our fundamental mission of improving legal education globally by learning from each other. The Criminal Law and Procedure Group commenced meetings with group members since the year 2015. We have traveled around the world in the course of this mission of interacting, cooperating, exploring, researching, and understanding our diverse backgrounds, unique systems, particularly circumstances and areas of commonalities. Our discussions led us to study core elements in line with establishing a unique approach to teaching criminal law and procedure. The IALS Criminal Law and Procedure Doctrinal Study Group has established certain core elements that are essential for students to enable them to have substantive understanding of the field. Our group also conducted tremendous work in identifying the skill set particularly relevant to this field, which our students require in order to complete their studies. We have identified such skill sets as interviewing skills, examination of witnesses, logical writing, etc., are some of those sets, and so many other works that we have done in this respect. The IALS Criminal Law and Procedure Group has also identified certain values specific to this field, which students should incorporate in an overall ethical legal education. These values can be used to illustrate and to reinforce ethical legal education. The interest of the public and common good of the society is uppermost in learning learning law by students. Fairness towards the accused, protective rights of the victims, etc., were also made major subjects of deliberation in the course of our discussions of this group. We have also compiled different pedagogical methodologies deployed and utilized by teachers and students while formulating an innovative pedagogy in doctrinal field, which basically suggests the following teaching strategies. 1. Traditional Socratic method. 2. Interactive method. 3. Deployment of audiovisual teaching aids and facilities. And last but not least, clinical writing and incorporative methods have all been identified as means and methods of teaching by to our teachers and for learning of students in this field. All the above activities can be found in the Doctrinal Study Group report in the IALS group site. I believe you all have access to that group site already. This period of COVID-19 has presented us with a new but fundamental challenge in the doctrinal area. The advent of new regulations and restrictions tied around coronavirus dictates that new forms of crimes have emerged. At the time when access to justice has received the least of attention due to lockdowns and state of emergencies imposed in many jurisdictions. The fundamental objective and primary purpose of governments is provision of security and welfare of citizens. Fundamental rights are also the responsibility of government. However, dilemma arises where there is a conflict between the government's effort to provide security and welfare of the people on the one hand, and on the other hand, ensure observance of fundamental human rights. In times of emergency of either considerable security threat or public health, the government finds itself in a situation in which to decide to cooperate to ensure security and protection of people, or allow the full enjoyment of rights with the possibility of compromising the security, good health and well-being of citizens. COVID-19 pandemic presents a classical example in which democratic governments across the world had to circumscribe fundamental rights to freedom of movement, freedom of association, and importantly, access to justice in the imposition of restrictions of movement, curfews, and ultimately total lockdowns in many of these jurisdictions. The effects of these emergency policies directly obstruct and impede on citizens' access to justice, both in pursuit of civil rights and on administration of criminal justice. In many climes, businesses and governments, including courts, have remained closed, with the consequences that offenders may not be tried on time or tried at all. Correctional systems are suspended. This presents our group with an area of discourse as we examine and appraise various actions of governments in checking the spread of the virus, the impact of policies on the public, and the abilities of governments to maintain the continuous function of machineries and institutions of justice. Very importantly also, the fact that our schools are closed, students are far away, scattered around the world, also presents us with this major challenge of creating means and process and the medium through which we will continue to teach and maintain contact with our students. Our group will have to discuss and find the most appropriate means of technology that can be deployed and adopted in order to ensure that work does not stop due to COVID-19, and so that we'll continue to interact and teach our students during these very difficult moments. It is my hope that we will continue to engage through these virtual means until such a time when normalcy returns and we get to meet and hug each other again. I welcome all new members, and I hope they will also continue to make inputs that will enrich our discourse and deliberations in this group. Thank you very much, all new members. Thank you very much, members of the International Association of Law School. Thank you, Mr. President Wang, and all the members of the Board of Governors. Thank you very much. Thank you.